Forging cyber security experts. Secure Ninja.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia Webb with SecureNinjaTV, and I'm here at the DNA Lounge in San Francisco. We are at BSides Security Conference, and I am speaking with Adam Shostack. He is an author and also a speaker here at BSides. How are you today, Adam?
I am great. It is so good to be here with you right now.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful day in San Francisco, and your talk is later on this afternoon.
It is, and we're sitting inside. What's up with that?
I don't know. We need to get out there. We need to go and see the bridge. But no, this is a very cool conference to be at.
I'm excited about it.
Tell us, what is your talk about today?
So my talk is threat modeling lessons from Star Wars.
Okay.
And it's really about threat modeling, how we think about what's going to go wrong in a system once we've built it. Mm-hmm. And so the talk is an introduction that's designed to level set and help people who aren't experienced threat modeling get going, avoid some traps, and be able to more effectively find security problems early in the development life cycle so it doesn't mess up their schedule and it doesn't result in security bugs happening after you've shipped.
Right. What are some of the traps that they might fall into?
So one important trap is we as security people love to tell each other to think like an attacker. Mm-hmm. And think like an attacker is wonderful advice if you know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, it's a little bit like saying think like a professional chef. We're here at the DNA Lounge. They've got a little restaurant. If you were the chef, how much ingredients do you buy to make sure they can make all the pizzas they need to make today? I don't know. I love cooking. I have no idea
you can make
how
one
to do
pizza.
that. Yeah. So when you tell someone to think like an attacker, a lot of people get this, oh my gosh, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. So it's not advice that helps it's not advice that helps a software developer. It's not advice that helps a sysadmin go and think through their threats. There are much more practical, much more prescriptive and concrete things that you can tell someone as to how to go about threat modeling.
Okay. And how does this relate to Star Wars?
So it relates to Star Wars because everything relates to Star Wars.
Of course. Absolutely.
So one way that I like to threat model is with a mnemonic called STRIDE. And STRIDE stands for spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privilege. So for example, an example of spoofing is Luke Skywalker wearing the Stormtrooper uniform and Princess Leia going, "Aren't you a little short to be a Stormtrooper?" Right? He is spoofing a Stormtrooper and she is detecting that. Yes. Or Obi-Wan Kenobi tampers with the tractor beam controls on the Death Star. He disables them. Right? Each of these is an example of a threat. And so in my talk, I'll go through each of the threats and give an example from Star Wars. And it's a little silly and it's a little fun, but the reason that I'm doing it is because it helps people remember the threats. If I just give, here's what spoofing is, here's what tampering is, it's a lot of information, it's hard to take in. If I connect it to something that people know, it helps them remember it. And so when they're thinking about their system and trying to apply STRIDE to it, they have these mnemonics that help them recall what these threats are, and it makes it easier for people to go about threat modeling.
Yes, there are definitely a lot of great analogies and metaphors in the hacking community, so Star Wars is one of them.
It's fun to use.
It is. It's fun to hear about. Now, you are an author, and your book is Threat Modeling, Designing for Security. Great cover.
Thank you.
Tell us about it.
I am thrilled that it's available now, and the book is really intended to bring the practice of threat modeling to a broader audience than it's previously been accessible to. I like to believe that everyone can threat model, and everyone does threat model. So if you're a software engineer, if you're an IT professional, or you're a security maven, you threat model. For example, if you thought about your house, you can say, okay, someone might break into my house through the windows or doors. You might threat model your house by thinking about your family or your pets or your heirlooms. You might threat model your house by saying, I'm worried about a druggie, or I'm breaking in to steal my stereo, I'm worried about a stalker. Each of these is a way that we threat model. We take some details out, we abstract the threat, and we use them to think about what might go wrong. And the essence of threat modeling is to think about what am I building, what's going to go wrong, and what am I going to do about it? And those three questions really form the basis of a practical, methodological way to find threats and to fix those threats early on in your life cycle. There's no better time to fix a problem than before you've written that line of code. And that's what threat modeling does for you.
So what is it that makes your threat modeling book unique?
So this book takes threat modeling from the way to threat model is to the ways to threat model are.
So there's multiple ways to threat model.
Absolutely.
Some examples.
Sure. So if you're a programmer and I came to you and said, what programming language should I use for my project?
Well, it depends.
It depends. Exactly. There's lots of different ways to do it. And in the past, we've talked about threat modeling as use data flow diagrams. And data flow diagrams are great, but you can also use a swim lane diagram. You know, those long things go back and forth between nodes in a network. You can use UML. You can use a whiteboard. Whatever works for you to model your software. And then when you get to threats, you can use Stride, which I've mentioned. You can use an attack library like KPEC, which is the Common Attack Patterns Enumeration and Classification, which is great if you're not a security expert. It's much more structured, it has much more detail than Stride. In the middle, there's attack trees, which are a way to break out attacks and structure your thinking about them. And each of these is appropriate for different audiences with different levels of skills or different information that's available to them. And so the book really transforms from go do exactly this to go do one of these things.
Okay.
And one of the things that I like to think about is technique versus repertoire. If you're learning to play an instrument, you learn some technique. You learn how to hold your fingers. You learn how to pace yourself. There's also repertoire, the pieces that you learn how to play. Techniques in threat modeling are things like DFDs and Stride. But there's also a repertoire. The spoofing threat is Luke Skywalker pretending to be a stormtrooper. Or the information disclosure threats are the things that many Bothans died to bring us. These threats, these specific examples are the repertoire that a threat modeler brings and then analogizes from to say, my new project is going to have a problem like this. Probably it's not Bothan spies, but you might have other things that information is going to be disclosed in ways that aren't quite appropriate.
Right. Well, it sounds like a great resource for lots of information on threat modeling. Where can somebody find this book?
So it's available now wherever fine books are sold. It's in the RSA Conference bookstore, where I'll be doing a signing Wednesday at 11. But wherever people like to acquire books, they should have copies now.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, Adam. This was a wonderful talk.
Thank you.
And good luck with, yeah, definitely. And good luck with your talk today here at BSides.
Very excited for it. Thanks.
Definitely. And thank you everyone at home for watching Secure Ninja TV. We will be here at San Francisco all week long at BSides and then RSA and even TrustyCon. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't miss any of the interviews. Also follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and we even have an Instagram channel now, so follow us on that. I'm Alicia Webb. Thanks for watching.
Secure Ninja TV is brought to you by SecureNinja.com, a world leader in cybersecurity training and certification. Our master instructors will help build you into a highly skilled and marketable security professional. Secure Ninja, forging cybersecurity experts.